Hi, my name is Sa'dia Rehman, and I'm a multidisciplinary artist and educator. I'm an artist in residence at KODA on Governor's Island, and I have an exhibition here titled Desire Lines, which includes monoprints, drawings, video work, and also textile work. So the title of the show is Desire Lines, and it includes video, drawings, monoprints, and a textile work. And the imagery in the show is inspired by tracing my own family's displacement from an area on the Indus River. So behind me is a monoprint, part of a series called Alphabet of Grief, and the monoprint was made by drawing on a inked plate, and I basically, drew on a letter-sized document and placed it on the inked plate, moved the letter-sized document all around the inked plate, and then I put that plate through a printmaking roller. And so you kind of, peel off the paper that you see behind me, and you see a reflection of what I have drawn from memory. And so the imagery, most of the imagery in this exhibition is from memory from a trip I had taken in March on the Indus River in Pakistan. I wanted to find my father's submerged village, and the village has been submerged since the late 60s, and it was submerged because a hydroelectric dam needed to be built in and on the Indus River. And so they flooded approximately 184 villages, one of them being my father's. They had thought that the dam would bring electricity to most of the country, but as we know today, these dams destroy ecosystems. They decimate homes and communities. They break up families, and that is exactly what had happened to my father's family between 68 and 74. And so I went to the Indus, and I took a journey with my family. We took a boat ride, a motorboat ride for 2 hours, searching for my father's village. But as I had mentioned, the ecosystem has changed there because of this dam being built. There's clay underneath the river now. Animals have been, many of them are beginning to become extinct. The flora and fauna have disappeared. There used to be massive mangroves of guava and mango trees. And so we went on this motorboat, about maybe 10 or 15 of us, and we took a 2-hour journey. The motorboat got stuck in the clay, and so we could not reach my father's village. And you kind of see this document-like video in the show as a 2-channel experimental video. So I had gone in March, when it's usually the end of winter time in Pakistan, and the water was low at the time. And when we took this boat ride, the rock formations had shown striations of where the water level kind of met the trees on the mountains. And so when we went during the winter, water level was low. And then, the monsoon season starts around June, July, and at that time, last year in 2022, there was flooding of a third of the country. And of course, this reservoir got flooded, damaged more homes. And so you can see, with the climate disaster that's happening all over the world, not just in Pakistan, mostly in the global south, is, devastating communities as, I speak. I titled the show Desire Lines. This has been a concept that has intrigued me for quite some time. I love looking at maps and kind of, architectural drawings, but mostly, maps that kind of show origin and destination. And many times what you see on maps are these lines that are from, place to place. They are either taken by, a boat or, a flight. Sometimes when, you take a flight, you see them on those little TVs in front of you where there's, these dotted lines that show origin and destination. So those are called desire lines. And so, and then another way to kind of define desire lines are the pathways that one takes while walking. And as you walk through, say a grassy field, and you continue to walk back and forth through that field, there's an erosion that happens with your feet. And that, pathway is also called a desire line. And, simply the desire, like, there's a need or there's a want, there's a dream. The definition of desire is kind of, recalls that for me. And I've been thinking about my parents' migration to the US in the late 60s. So when my, parents came in the late 60s, they were building a home. As they were building a home here with us, my father's home was being destroyed in Pakistan. And so that devastation, and thought between, the want and need and desire of a home, of building something, of this, necessity to kind of, just live is something that I had been thinking about. So right now we're in my studio, which I've been lucky to have been in since May of 2023. And here I have been working on a tent piece. Tarbela Dam it's made of many materials, but one of the materials is cement, and the bones of cement usually are rebar. These striated kind of metal pieces. And so what I had done here is that similarly to the 9 drawings that you see out in the exhibition space titled Desire Lines, I had taken that, the rebar, and I placed it on this cotton fabric and wet the rebar, and then came back in the morning and then shifted the rebar. And these are, several pieces of broken rebar. And so this, long stretch of cotton, now burnt into, I guess, or rusted into, is one side of a tent that I have been thinking about. And so when we kind of think about the history of my family moving from one place to another, and being forcefully moved from Kharkot to an arid land, it wasn't just that they had been moved and given homes. They had to move multiple times within a stretch of many, many years, and they were offered tents to live in. In some ways, you know, what I'm making in my studio, it's such a kind of siloed space. I'm alone in my studio and just making these objects, these things, trying to reflect an unwritten history and story. But at the same time, doing this project for about 3 years and going to, in search of the village, the submerged village, in some ways I feel like the ghosts of my ancestors are with me. So I'm not alone in the studio. I'm not alone making this work. Many times I think it's collaborative with my family and you know, my ancestors.